The police are investigating the death of 29-year-old Dequan Maloney of McKnight, but who resided at Bird Rock. Investigations so far have time between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. on Thursday, January 26th. Multiple explosive sounds were heard in the Mourne Heights area. However, nothing was reported to the police. Close to 5 a.m. on Friday, January 27th, a report was made to the police of a body being found in that area. Officers responded, and upon arrival, Maloney's lifeless body was found inside the trunk of a motor car with what appeared to be about the body. The officers also observed that Maloney's apartment appeared to have been entered by force and was ransacked. The district medical officer visited the scene and pronounced him dead. Personnel from the forensics department processed the scene and collected items of evidential. With information regarding this incident are urged to contact the Violent Crime Unit by dialing 467-1887, 467-1888, 468, the nearest police station, or the crime hotline at 707, where information can be given anonymously. Investigations into the going. Maloney is the second homicide for the year 2023. Andre Huey, Skn Newsline.
With many circulating views and comments on social media regarding an impasse between two elected opposition members of the Nevis Island Assembly, Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge, leader of the party, spoke with Skn Newsline on the matter. Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge is a newly elected member of the Nevis Island Assembly and NRP representative Cleon Stapleton Simmons in the Nevis Island Assembly. According to sources, there is deadlock on who will be leader of the parliamentary opposition, as neither is prepared to support the opposition, and it is also affecting the selection of a senator for the opposition benches. Skn Newsline spoke with Dr. Hodge, who indicated that the matter will be properly resolved according to the party's guidelines, and commented also on the perception of the party that gained an extra seat in the December 2022 elections on Nevis.
We do appearance that there is some disunity within the party can be hurtful, but we are quite confident that NRP is a strong party. We are guided by our constitutions and policies, etc. And so where we encounter new circumstances, we must take the necessary time to deliberate on these matters. We are certain that in terms of our efforts to bring good governance to the people of Nevis, that has not changed in any way. But there would be challenges in certain situations, and the way in which we deal with those challenges, I would say, would be in the best interest of the party and for Nevis. And so I think once the dust is settled, these are the days with social media, and so even an idea that is being discussed, once it gets into social media, a number of different opinions, etc. But it would be foolhardy, I think, of myself as the leader to come out and put a statement when there is still much fluidity in the situation.
Dr. Hodge said there is no specific deadline for a resolution to be found. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
Living in the Caribbean is like paradise until you try to sell or buy an item online. If only there was an online marketplace that caters to your region. Well, now there is. On Buy Sell SKN, you can easily buy or sell used and new items, browse for services, and it's completely free. Visit buysellskn.com, create your free account, sell your item or service, and get paid.
Skn Newsline brings you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and national news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports. All from newsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips. Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is a guest house and convention center. With breathtaking views, a rugged, beautiful shoreline, and immaculate manicured garden, the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page. Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
While Nevis continues to diverse need is to strengthen its tourism industry. Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis and the Minister with responsibility for tourism on Nevis, said this year, 2023, much focus will be placed on promoting the island in an attempt to shorten the length of the tourism off-season by attracting more visitors to the island. So far in 2023, he said, there are positive signs for greater tourism performance on the island.
I think our goals this year are greater promotion. We are very much going to be investing in greater exposure. We started this last year with, for example, having the island being displayed on the Jumbotrons at Times Square in New York. That was the first for us. We invited more journalists to get more eyes. We're going to be doing more in terms of social media. And our people at the NT are going to be fanning out across the world to specific events that match the profile of what we're seeking to do in Nevis. Nevis, we have said, is not for everybody. It is not said in a boastful way, it is said rather in a practical way, because we only have a limited number of hotel rooms, and we therefore cannot accommodate the mass market. So what we're trying to do is to cater for the higher end of the market. And I like to say it, I've said it publicly 1,000 times, that I prefer, the Nevis model is we prefer to have 100 guests paying $1,000 a night than to have 1,000 guests paying $100 a night. And some people say the math is the same, and on one view it is the same. But we feel that the 100 guests who are paying $1,000 a night leads to less environmental degradation, it leads to less gridlock on the island, and it ultimately leads to more money, because these are the people who will go out to the restaurants and bars and spend. And in fact, based on the numbers that we have seen, we know, for example, that the Four Seasons has already revised upwards their revenue estimates for this season. And that's always a good sign. So they're already surpassing what they estimated and have revised upwards. And they are indicating to us that this will now be the deepest and longest season that they're going to have, because they have significant groups that are booked all the way down to June and July.
The invigoration of the Vance Amri International Airport is part of the NIA's program to support increases in visitor arrivals. Glenn Butt reporting for Skn Newsline.
The People's Action Movement, PAM, which has just celebrated its 58th anniversary as a political party, has vowed to remain united and guided by the Word of God to develop the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, according to political leader Sean Richards. Officers and members of the party had joined the leadership and membership of the Immaculate Conception Co-Cathedral, where they were welcomed by Assistant Priest Father Courage Dogby and Deacon Rev. Tarley Francis for the Eucharist celebration for the third Sunday of Ordinary Time sermon. Mr. Richards said, quote, "We have come this morning to give God thanks for many things. We have come to give God thanks for all of our friends, our supporters, our well-wishers, and our members over the last 58 years, and perhaps even more importantly, for giving us the vision to have hope over the years in contribution towards the development of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis," end quote. Present at the service included PAM's Deputy Leader, Lindsay Grant, Deputy Chairman, Mr. Azard Gums, General Secretary, Mrs. Natasha Gray Brooks, Assistant General Secretary Ms. Danielle Warner, Treasurer Mr. Charles Morton, and PAM Caretaker for St. Christopher 7 Mr. Lincoln David Pell, among other party members. I'm Andre Huey for Skn Newsline.
Living in the Caribbean is like paradise until you try to sell or buy an item online. If only there was an online marketplace that caters to your region. Well, now there is. On Buy Sell SKN, you can easily buy or sell used and new items, browse for services, and it's completely free. Visit buysellskn.com, create your free account, sell your item or service, and get paid.
The Skn Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one.
And tensions continue to soar in Haiti as angry demonstrators took to the streets, blocking roads to protest a slew of killings of police officers by the Haitian gangs over the last week. Protesters in civilian clothes who identified themselves as police first attacked Prime Minister Ariel Henry's official residence. According to reports, the protesters then flooded the airport as Henry was arriving from a trip to Argentina. The protesters also blocked roads around Port-au-Prince and in several cities to the north. Schools were shut down for the day. The Caribbean nation has been gripped by gang wars and political chaos following the 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moise. The gangs who control much of Haiti and regularly kidnap people for ransom also attacked the police headquarters in Liancourt, a town in the north of Haiti, killing at least 6 officers. On Wednesday, 2 officers were killed by attackers before 4 others were dragged outside of the police station and were executed.
Attaquer chaque green ministre, chaque green directeur général. Faut que révolution faite. Faut que pays d'Haïti, si moun ka l'école, et ceci faut qu'il y ait une révolution, on peut descendre qui fait. Parce que si Ariel a signé un acte, pour tout policier mourir, il n'a pas jamais dit rien, il n'a pas jamais la go tweet pour dire on va s'en avec tout policier qui mourir nous-mêmes. Je dis à nous prendre la rue pour nous revendiquer pour frère nous. Action nous qui tombe en bas balle bandit. Et ceci nous prend la rue à chaque jour jusqu'à ce que nous ayons une réponse.
According to the National Union of the Haitian Police Officers, 1,400 police officers have been killed by armed gangs since the beginning of the year. Haiti, the poorest nation in the Americas, has been gripped by a worsening political and economic crisis since 2021. The United Nations has also recorded at least about 1,359 kidnappings last year. More than 2,000 murders have been recorded in 2022. And this is up by a factor of a third from the previous year. According to the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres' latest report on Haiti, the police force remains overstretched, understaffed and very badly undersourced. The United Nations is reportedly discussing on means to send a foreign strike force to confront the criminal gangs who've now taken over the streets of Haiti. The proposal was originally to be made 3 months ago, but no country so far has offered to lead such a strike force to take down the Haitian gangs. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Has been confirmed. There is now a temporary ban on incoming Antigua Airways flights. According to Information Minister, the Honourable Melford Nicholas, visa requirements and issues with onward travel arrangements are behind the decision. Nicholas says Immigration Minister, the Honourable Stilroy Benjamin, has asked for the suspension until such issues can be adequately resolved. Speaking at the first post-cabinet media briefing since general elections, Minister Nicholas outlines how investigations revealed nefarious actors were at play in the process, outside the knowledge of both this country's government and proprietors of Antigua Airways.
Their efforts were imitated by another operator and would have arranged another charter outside of the knowledge of the government. And it seemed to us that based on intelligence report that we have, that the objective of that other charter was to use Antigua as a stepping stone for persons going to other jurisdictions.
He reveals the uncovered intent of the organizers and those passengers who'd been misled.
Insofar as the persons who were transiting Antigua to other jurisdictions, our information suggests that they were heading towards South America to be able to use the South American border to obviously get access to the southern border of the United States. And that was clearly not the objective intention of the government in establishing this air route.
He maintains that was not the original intent of the arrangement. Nevertheless, work is ongoing to establish air routes with the African continent. These are expected to expand commerce, tourism, and culture. Negotiations, according to Minister Nicholas, with another airline are advancing.
We have had engagements with an established airline, Air Peace, and we are still continuing in those discussions. And in the likely event that we are able to conclude those negotiations, we will see the establishment of air travel between us and West Africa.
The minister adds arrangements, though, will need to be made to repatriate those visitors from West Africa still here on island. For ABS News, I'm Ursil Charles Jr.
Australia Day 2023. Thousands of people line Sydney Harbour to celebrate the beginning of modern Australia. That's when Britain's first fleet sailed into Sydney Cove in 1788. But not everyone is feeling proud, and some refuse to share in the celebration. Around the country, protesters have rallied, challenging what Australia's National Day represents. They call it Invasion Day, a time to mourn the displacement of the First Nations people.
Today is where it should be a day of mourning. It should be the recognition of the first shot that was fired and the start of the war against our people.
This is Ground Zero, genocide. Ground Zero happened here on 26th of January, 1788. Nobody should be celebrating it.
The movement to change the date is gaining momentum.
We want to bring people together in a spirit of reconciliation. So we do want a day where it's celebrating an Australian history. But today is not the day to do it on.
That momentum has been acknowledged by the Prime Minister, who says Australian companies must allow employees opposed to Australia Day the right to work on this public holiday.
Today's a day that's important to celebrate who we are, but also to recognise the changing nature of Australia.
This year, Australians will vote in a referendum to decide if the country's constitution should be changed to acknowledge the First Nations people. If successful, it won't only just be acknowledgement, it'll also give the Indigenous community a greater say in the national policy-making process. Not everyone the date. Conservative opposition leader Peter Dutton is among those defending Australia Day. He argues the country should celebrate its mix of Indigenous, British and multicultural histories. Debate about increasing recognition of Indigenous Australians will go well beyond Australia Day, the proposal enshrining what's being an Indigenous voice in the Constitution being put to a referendum later this year. Sarah Clark, Al Jazeera, Brisbane.
This video is being circulated by the friends and supporters of Zhao Zhishen, a 26-year-old book editor who has not been seen or heard from since December. If you're watching this video, she says, I've been taken away by the police. Rights groups say she's among dozens of people who have been detained since taking part in demonstrations against China's zero-COVID policy in November.
I was not surprised by the crackdown, by the punishment by the government, but I was very surprised by the actions and courage of young people.
The protests in several cities were the largest seen in China for decades. They were sparked by the death of 10 people in an apartment block fire in the western city of Urumqi. Critics say their deaths were preventable and blamed strict COVID-19 controls. Some called for the stepping down of Chinese leader Xi Jinping, but most stood in solidarity with those who died, demanding an end to restrictions.
We have the right to express our emotions. Our sympathy is for those who lost their lives. That's why we went to the scene. This vigil was attended by thousands of people. We followed the rules without conflict with police.
President Xi downplayed the movement as frustrated students, but shortly afterwards, police began contacting, questioning and warning those who attended, saying the gatherings were illegal. Protesters say they did not give their details to authorities.
This area by the Liangma River here in Beijing is where protesters gathered in November. Like most public places in the city, it's blanketed with high-tech surveillance cameras like this one.
China has one of the most sophisticated surveillance systems in the world. Facial recognition cameras and mobile phone tracking devices were used to identify demonstrators, say rights groups. China's foreign ministry has denied any mistreatment.
China is governed by the rule of law, and the various legal rights and freedoms enjoyed by Chinese citizens are fully guaranteed.
Cao Zhishen was initially detained for 24 hours and released, but as some of her friends began to disappear in the weeks to follow, she suspected she would be next.
If they want to convict us, show the public the evidence. Do not let us disappear from this world unjustly.
Friends of Cao have told Al Jazeera they are very concerned for her well-being. She was last heard from on Christmas Eve. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
Once the door qualified for the Super 6 playoffs is the Old Road United Jets. The team, comprised mostly of young, exciting players from Old Road and adjoining communities, is confident that this year will be their year. After a practice match on the field in Birchilds on Wednesday night against Garden Hotspurs, manager of the team, Ayantha Freeman, said the club is excited about the start of the season and said their goal is to win the SKNFA Premier League title.
Well, we are anticipating the season so far, as we have been practicing the second week in December and gearing up until now. So we have been definitely anticipating the upcoming season. To win, of course, to take home that cup. Simple.
Old Road's Tikwani Williams is one of the hottest strikers in the Premier League. He won the Golden Boot title last season, tied with Kimari Rogers of Village Superstars, despite not finishing the regular season due to a brief football stint overseas. He said the team is confident it will exceed expectations to not only make the playoffs, but go all the way to the finals.
Training so far, we're going good, you guys. I'm doing hard work, because this season we're on a mission. Yeah, and we want to play in the final six, and not only the final six, but we're competing for the championship. Fully confident. Everybody working hard, everybody training, so we know we're in for a good season this time around.
Personally, he is expecting to win the Golden Boot race again and spoke highly of his experience playing abroad.
Well, the mission is still the same thing, to win it once again. Yeah. Right now, no work stopping. Right now, still working hard. As you can see, still scoring. So it's no heat lose. Yeah, and I'm ready for it. OC was a great experience, teach me a lot, and that's why I could compete for the Golden Boots once again.
Is this the season Old Road make their football dreams come true?
Welcome to the Skn Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. For a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.